All right, we live. What's up, everybody? I do Frank, I think it's fun and hilarious when you get two podcasters on a show together. It's probably always worse when I'm the guest because I'll be like, oh no, I got the question for you. Like it's funny when you have two hosts because you both get into like host mode and you feel like you need to ask a question. That always just cracks me up, but it's a ton of fun. All right, here we go. I see us out here. I gotta
Well, I'm your toy, Dan. Play with me.
Man, I wish I heard that more often, you know? Let's see what we got here. Making this thing public. What's up, everybody? Thanks for checking in. Drop a comment. Drop a where you're at. Where are you listening from? What are you up to? Somebody said StreamYard or Facebook. Was that you? Was that you, Frank? Did you say StreamYard or Facebook?
No, that wasn't me.
That
you got somebody trying to get in?
Somebody said StreamYard or Facebook. Angela Schroeder says, what's up? What's up, Ange? Angela, when we were texting back and forth with your brother and he called you Ange, I was like, man, that's such a funny, nobody's called you Ange. And I was like, that's how I know he's your brother. Because I've known you for over a year and I've never heard anybody call you Ange. But then all of a sudden, like, he's just like, what's up, Ange? Like, that's got to be a relative. Only a relative would have a different word for somebody like that. We got freedom.
How do they shorten Dan?
Dumbass is usually how that gets. That's the nickname abbreviation.
Okay.
Ellie Mason checking in. What's up, Ellie? We got Freedom Exterior Power Washing checking in from Baltimore. What's going on, Jeff? If you would, and this is, I had to like redo this thing here so you guys can see it. There's like a place on StreamYard where you can click like, hey, let StreamYard see my thing, and then we can see when you're commenting. So when I throw you up here, it says, you know, your name instead of Facebook user. It's just a thing you can do. It's a thing you can do. Also, do me a favor. Do me 4 to 7 favors. Just do them, all of them. One is go on Facebook, go search the Home Service Happy Hour group. There's a new public Facebook group that I started. Go and join that son of a gun. This is going to be out there. I'm still like putting this on my personal page, but we're going to get this out more and more stuff on that Home Service Happy Hour page. And on Turfs Up Radio, when I do my midday show, we're going to start having live happy hours where you can just like come in, you can be on here, you can hang out, we can talk shop. It'll be a little bit more of an open forum. It's limited to like 8 to 10 people, I think, on StreamYard. So not everybody will be able to get on, but we're going to do some live happy hours coming up as we get that new group going. So go check that out. And I got a YouTube channel too, where this is going on. So feel free to jump into the YouTubes and subscribe to Home Service Happy Hour. Out there, we have a lot more of the nuggets. So if you ever tune into Joe Rogan Experience, like those podcasts are kind of like mine. They're 2 hours long. But Frank's like, oh shit, I didn't know we were going 2 hours. Every once in a while, it just happens that it's like, we're just in it. We're just going, and we're just going to go until we have nothing to go on. But go check out the YouTubers and check out Home Service Happy Hour on YouTube and subscribe to that. Frank Disher, how the heck you doing tonight, man?
Doing well. Just finished our episode for the week, and so really didn't even have to get up from my seat.
Dude, your vocal cords sound warmed up. You're ready to go. You're in the flow. How did your episode go? What were you talking about tonight?
We're just talking about variable speed pumps, ways to save energy. Going into this season on swimming pools, because that's what we be. We be swimming pool people.
Man, I'm in Minnesota, and we get 3 months of swimming here. I have a pool, and we use the shit out of it for 3 months because that's all you get. Like when it hits 70, you're like, bust that pool open, baby. We're going in there. The interesting this year is it's already springtime. Like it's March. Yeah. Normally we'd have 2 feet of snow on the ground right now, and it'd be in the 30s every day, maybe for a high. You'd be like, oh, I think the sun's starting to come out. I mean, today at 50, it's just bonkers. I think my pool's going to be open mid-April.
We got people already swimming, which is unusual for us. We're typically late March, mid-April, but yeah, we got people already in their pools enjoying them. And
where are you at? Where are you? Remind me.
I'm in Dallas, Fort Worth.
So, oh damn! Texas. Yeah, that is early for you guys.
Yeah, it's a bit early for us. But you talk. You're from Minnesota. We just I'm part of the Porks franchisee or franchise organization.
Yeah.
And we just had a large company up in Minnesota just join our ranks. They have like 8 retail stores across the state. Minneapolis, I think, is their home base. But I can't remember what their original name is, but they're all switching over to Porks, and they're up there in Minnesota. They're huge.
Is it Performance Pool something?
That, you know what, that sounds familiar. That may be them.
Those are the folks around my neck of the woods that I usually use. They're where I get my chemicals and all my stuff from.
Yeah, their signs, I believe all their signs are changed. They now say Porks on the front of the building. So if next time you go up and it says that,
I'll find out when I call for them to come and open my pool. Yeah. It's funny, and I'm gonna dig into your background a little bit, a lot of it here. But we got people checking in. Let's hit some check-ins. JC, Jared Janowski checking in. What's up, JC? Generic Facebook user says, "Holy hell, what's up, guys? Bringing out the Yoda of pools." I see. Is that a common nickname for you, Frank?
No. I normally I go by Pool Jesus.
Pool Jesus. But I mean, if you
I guess Yoda fit.
That's more like practical, theology that we got going on here. But if you take it to the next dimension and get into that Star Wars field, I feel like Yoda of pools is really on a even playing field to Jesus.
In the 4th dimension, it would be Yoda.
Yeah. Oh yeah, it totally makes sense. Somebody checking in here. I gotta figure out. I want to see. Let me get out here. Let me see if I can figure out where these people are jumping in. I can't tell who this one is, but he says, "Tell you what, if you really want good recurring income kind of business, pool cleaning is where it's at. Make about 1,000 a week for about 6 hours of work, 1 day per week." There was a point in my lifespan here back in my Blue Skies days where we were seriously considering getting into the pool cleaning business. And I looked at it for a second, but given I'm in Minnesota and service businesses are kind of a pain in the butt to run from a distance, we decided not to do it. But man, there's never a shortage of pool cleaning companies for sale, small routes.
No, it's, that's a lot of guys, and I'm not sure if it's like this in some of the other businesses, but a lot of guys, they go in, they build their business up, and then they sell it. And then they take, a year off. Then they build their business up and they sell it. I don't subscribe to that. I like hanging on to what I built and let it retain value, because someday when I do sell, if I sell, it needs to make bank. It doesn't need to just give me a year off. It needs to give me a lifetime off.
Yeah, so, you better be working towards that higher multiple, not just
absolutely.
Hey guys, as you're checking in, we got Hecubus checking in. That was Hecubus with the Yoda reference. That makes sense. That totally makes sense. That was Hecubus. We got Ryan Crowley checking in. I think he might have been the "What's up, Dan the man?" What's up, Ryan? Somebody says, "What you drinking, Dan?" And what I drinking is right now it's a whiskey and Sprite, and I got two different IPAs in the. Check this out, Frank. This is cool. This is my favorite Christmas present that I've gotten of all time. It's a little mini fridge that my wife got for me with the Home Service Happy Hour logo and a Best Damn Bookkeeping logo on it. And
that could be a carry-on.
Yeah, so I got a couple beers in here ready to go for when the cocktail runs out.
Very nice, very nice.
IPAs on standby. Everybody checking in. Let us know. Let us know where you're checking in from. Let us know if you got a swimming pool, or if you had one and you screwed it up so bad you had to dig it up and bury it. My wife's cousin bought a house, gorgeous house, gorgeous in-ground pool. And they had young kids, and I have young kids, so I'm like, a pool is a lot of fun. I grew up with a pool, so I kind of, it can be intimidating, but man, they wasted no time bringing in bobcats and just burying that son of a gun. They just dug the whole thing out, all of it. And I was just like, man, at that point, I would have just been looking for a different house, I think. But it's an interesting approach.
Filling in a pool is not a inexpensive proposition. It's I know down here it runs anywhere from $10,000 to $15,000 to fill it in.
Oh yeah.
What did they just didn't like it, or are they afraid for the kids?
Yeah, they didn't like the liability of it. The liability of here with the kiddos.
No, you can put up fences.
Yeah. They do fences. The fence is cheaper than filling in a pool.
Yes, and we do a lot of safety fences, stuff like that. Safety is a priority, of course.
Gotta be.
But and there's good money in it. There's good business. It's not a recurring business, but typically you put up a fence, you're done with them.
Mhm.
But it gets you in the backyard, and a lot of times you can end up, we end up getting their service. You can get their repairs on their pumps, their plaster, anything else they need. So it's a good way to get in the backyard, and it's decent money.
Somebody said, how do I appear as me? Why does it say Facebook user? I think maybe if you're watching on my feed, then it probably won't let you. But if you go to the Home Service Happy Hour Facebook group, then there's a button you can click on there. So go join the Home Service Happy Hour Facebook group. And then at the bottom, there's a button you can click on that live feed where it says allow StreamYard to see who the hell I am. And then when you comment, we'll see who the hell you are. Doug Brown checking in says, what's up? He also said he hates pools. He wants a hot tub.
I hate hot tubs.
I was gonna say I like hot tub. I love the idea of hot tubs. I'm just like, oh, it sounds freaking cool. And then after like 10 minutes, I'm just like, I'm itchy and uncomfortable sitting in here, and I want to get out. I do though enjoy when you're in really cold weather and there's a hot tub outside, and so it's like below freezing, and and like if your hair gets wet, it like starts to freeze, but your body temp is warm, and then you can have a beer, and it's like perfectly ice cold outside of the tub because the air temp is like 20 degrees. And so you got this like super hot experience and the super cold experience all at once. So that's a good time. I'm not downplaying that.
Well, I mean, I'm in Texas. I mean, our hot tub season is about like y'all's pool season. We don't get much of it. It's when it's 95 at 10 o'clock at night.
Yeah, you're like, I need a cool tub. I want a room temp tub.
Yes, and and that's a thing that's coming on, these chill tubs. With they knock them down to 40 something, 50 something degrees, and people get in there. It's the whole cryogenic thing where they're not freezing heads and stuff, but they're chilling bodies. And it's supposed to be like a weight loss thing.
I'm not interested in that. That sounds like a lot of work.
Well, you can just step outside.
Yeah. Why you got to make it so complicated? All right, everybody who's trying to get on here and do the Facebook approval thing, I'm dropping it in my feed on my personal page. Oh, just StreamYard.com/Facebook, and then that allows them to do the thing where they talk to each other. So do that. And if you're in the Home Service Happy Hour group, you got to like expand the text because, of course, I'm long-winded. So even when I typed what we're going to be talking about tonight, it like goes past the thing. You have to hit more. But then you can see what we're up to. So go check out what we're up to and comment. And if you missed this when we first jumped on, we're giving away a ticket to Sales Boost. You can go check out what Sales Boost is all about, salesboostlive.com. I'm looking at it right now on my other screen. So I'm going to get the dates right because otherwise I totally won't. March 23. I had to click a button, so now I have to like wait for the screen to load, which it always loads slower when you're like live on a thing. March 20th to 23rd. I knew one of them was the 23rd. I knew it. I'm going to be there nerding out, speaking on what I like to call the purgatories of scaling. And there's a heck of a lineup speaking at Sales Boost. So I don't know if you own a business and you like are interested in growing it. If you're into that sort of thing, I don't know. That sounds cool to you. Sales Boost is going to be a really good time. I even heard from Angela and JC that they're going to have a fridge full of Busch Lights. I think they want something from me. I'm not sure what their angle is. I think they're trying to manipulate me, but I'm there for it. I'm here to be manipulated. So check that out. Sales Boost. We're going to give away a ticket. Frank, since we got to give away a ticket, you got any fun ways of giving away tickets? I mean, this is like a $1,200 ticket, by the way. This isn't just like some Joe Schmo ticket. This ticket's some real money.
How about a trivia question?
I do like a trivia question. The only downside that I've had with trivia questions is you kind of have to limit it to like one answer per. And so I like it when they can throw in multiple answers. Just to get the, and then you can like just keep kicking around. You can let it linger for like 30 minutes and the anticipation just kills them. I like doing that.
Well, you can, how many fingers am I holding up?
None. I know the answer to that. I know exactly. Here's the thing. Listeners, viewers, give us what you think should be the way we give away a ticket. I was telling Frank earlier.
There's a thought.
Let's get some interaction here. How do you guys think we should give away a ticket? Today on the radio show, for no rhyme or reason, I think Angela had said something before we went live about emojis, and I was like, here's what we're gonna do. Whoever drops the best string of emojis is gonna get the ticket. And I had to clarify, there was zero scoring scale, zero process for evaluating what would be deemed the best string of emojis. It was literally just whichever one I liked the most. That was how we got there. And that was a lot of fun. We had some wild ass emoji strings coming in. Doug Brown checked it out. He said, let's do a trivia question like kudzu. Frank, I was trying to, do you know what kudzu is? You heard of kudzu?
No. It must be a Nordic thing.
If you said the word, then I know what it is. It's one of these things. And there was a business lesson involved, but business lessons are boring. So I'm going to skip that. We're just going to get right down to this kudzu lesson. And there's these things that you like know, but you can't, no matter how many times somebody tells you. Like Doug dropped that word on me earlier. And if he would have asked me, hey, what's that vine that does this thing and it does this and that would have been like, I don't remember what that word is. Like I'm just that word kudzu is never going to live in my brain. But if you say, hey, what's kudzu? I could tell you exactly what it is. But if you say, hey, there's this vine and it's an invasive foliage and it basically like blankets the woods. Like if it takes over a patch of woods, it looks like there's a green leafy blanket strewn about it and you ain't getting in there. It looks impenetrable. And I've seen it when I was out hunting in Kentucky. And so like I'm aware of it and I know what it is. But if you described it, I'd be like, I know what that is. And I'd never be able to think of the word. But if you said the word, I'd be like, yeah, let me tell you all about it. It's just a weird thing.
Are you talking about that thing China gave us as a gift that basically covered the forest in Georgia and some of the South?
Yeah. Did that come from China? I didn't know it came from
I believe it was a Chinese gift they gave us, and it basically just carpeted the forest.
When you said a Chinese gift, I thought you were talking about COVID for a second. I thought that was what that was. Maybe that's just, it's all part of it. It's all coming together.
Well, first take out the trees, and they take out the people. Voila, you got farmland.
They'll have this land before we know it. We'll have this land before we know it. Doug's given all the history. He said it's a southern import vine that takes over everything. North Carolina and Georgia, it is bad. I don't know what you mean by southern import. Southern China import? Is it southern China import?
I think you mean southern area, but it's an import.
But it is an import. It's an invasive. I like Ryan Crowley's idea here, the best temporary tattoo placement contest. So a couple of years ago at a convention, at our booth, we had Dan tats, like just tattoos of me, temporary tattoos. It was a stupid idea that my admin and my general manager had come up with, but I'm all about stupid ideas. So like they surprised me with it. And I was like, oh yeah, like we're giving away Dan tats. Who wants a tattoo of me on him? And we had people put like Bobby, my buddy Bobby, very disgustingly put it on his palm. And he's like, oh yeah, baby. And so that was pretty disgusting. But it was great. But it was great. It was hilarious. Had Ryan put it very tramp stampy. As low as a man with a hairy crack should ever put a tattoo. He had that baby down there and he was showing it off. He's just sporting it. So props to Ryan. I had one gal, I had quite a few people put it on their neck and just like a Dan tat right here. What they didn't realize is like it was a temporary tattoo, but it was like a 2-week temporary tattoo. So like the next day,
my going to work.
Yeah, well, Michelle was like getting on an airplane. My friend Michelle was getting on the airplane, and like that's the thing that's on her is this tattoo of my face on her neck, and like she can't get rid of it. And she's like, she texted me from the plane. She said, "Upgraded to first class," and I was like, it had to be the Dan tat on your neck. Like they were scared of you, and they're like, we better bump this lady up. She is crazy. We just got to keep her away from everybody else. Let's bump her way up in like 1A, get her way by the window in first class. So that was a fun one.
So a Dan tat. Where would I put a Dan tat? Probably right next to my slippery when wet.
It would do well there. It would do really well there. I could see you putting it high on your chest so it's just peeking out of your shirt. Just peeking,
just like kind of, finding,
yeah.
was it Elmo or
yeah, a little Where's Waldo popping out, just like, what's going on? Rob Anderson said Michelle looked legit. She did look legit. She looked tough. Rob had his on his left cheek, clarified butt. Got it, just my face got put in a lot of weird places that I was like kind of disgusted, but kind of proud, a little bit of
what was it a good likeness?
No, it was actually a pretty bad caricature of me. I thought like I don't think it looked that much like me, but it looked enough like me. And it had the dude was holding a beer and saying something just like, yo, just something stupid that I would say. Or it was like, boom. It was something that they said that I say a lot. And I had to be like, I don't think I really say that a lot. Like maybe I do, but I don't think I really did. But yeah, it's fun, Ryan says, "Oh, come on, it was pretty good. It wasn't bad. It wasn't bad. I felt like it could have been better from a drawing perspective, but it was so cheesy and stupid. Like it was kind of good that it was bad. Like if it would have been really good, it would have just been like too weird. So it's kind of nice that it was like half-ass. I think it made it all the better." Rob says there was a lot of free beer and koozies being passed around. Yeah, that's kind of my shtick at conventions. Like if you find me, you're probably gonna wind up with a free beer in your hand. Frank, I want to dig in. We got the sales boost ticket to give away. Stay tuned. We're gonna give this baby away. Like I said, it's like a $1,200 ticket to sales boost. It's March 20th to 23rd, Wilmington, North Carolina. You're going for free. So it's 2 weeks from now, right in like the prime time of getting your business off the ground in the spring rush. What better time to invest in your sales processes and your growth and strategy and all that stuff. So I think it'll be an awesome convention, awesome timing. Rob's going to be there. Rob Anderson will be there hanging out. Frank, let's dig in a little bit. How the hell did you end up talking about pools all day? Take us back to the earliest relevant time period of your start and just like this crazy ass home service space. How did you get here?
Well, I like a lot of people, had good jobs, but it wasn't enough. It didn't give me the lifestyle I wanted. So I always did stuff on the side, and I was a licensed electrician for many years, and that's what I did on the side. And one day I was a friend of mine who was a master electrician. I was a journeyman working on getting my master's while I was an air traffic controller. I did retire from the FAA as an air traffic controller, but I'm in this lady's backyard replacing a pool light as an electrician. And the lady asked me, she's like, hey, can you service my pool? And I was like, lady, I don't know anything about pools, and this is like 1995. And she's like, well, I got to find somebody new, because the guy that takes care of my pool, he was wearing a work release ankle bracelet. And I don't know if he's a murderer or rapist or what. And I'm like, holy crap. So, that just planted a seed in the back of my head. And as I'm driving around, I'm seeing all these pool guys. This is the mid 90s. The industry's come a long way.
Yeah.
But, mid 90s, I'm driving around and every pool truck I see looks like it's barely making it down the road.
Oh, it's probably a lot of those creepy white vans. I'm picturing a lot of creepy white vans selling candy.
And the guys driving them look like a bunch of homeless pirates. So I'm like, all right,
Wait, is that redundant though? Like, do pirates really have homes?
Well, they got a boat. At least they got a boat.
So you're talking like pirates on dinghies. Like they don't even have a damn pirate ship. These are just like pirates.
Small time pirates.
Yeah, castaway pirates. Okay, I'm with you.
So it just, I was like, you know what? Maybe this is an industry that I could do well in. So got to looking into it, and I did what I thought everybody did, but apparently very few people do this, at least back then. I contacted all the manufacturers of pool equipment, and I went to all, because air traffic controller could fly for free. We could fly up in the front in the cockpit, and we could fly all over the place, and they considered familiarization. So I'm going all over the freaking planet, getting trained on everything I can get trained on, trying to get myself ready to go in the pool industry. And get through all that. We got CPO, became a CPO instructor, and started my business. And I was trading out some guys. I would do their electrical work for them to teach me how to do some of the other things that, just, pull maintenance, and started my own business. And about 20 years later, I joined up with Pullworks because I was business wise, I was an idiot. I was a really good pool guy, but business, I was a moron. And there's a lot of that going around. Great guys, really know what they're doing. They're excellent at pool stuff. They really understand chemistry, but they suck at business.
There's two types of people, Frank. They're either artisans or they're assholes. They're one or the other. They're either not growing because they're so like dialed in on the pool thing that they can't like see the forest for the trees, or they're assholes so they don't grow the business because they just keep kicking themselves in the teeth.
Well, I was definitely the asshole.
Well, I picked for an artisan. I was giving you the benefit of the doubt that you're just so damn good at it.
I was business stupid. In the first 20 years, I easily cost myself $1.5-2 million over that time period on bad decisions, bad purchasing, bad pricing, bad risks, hiring the wrong people, and it just beat me down. And luckily I had an FAA income that a lot of times that's the only money I had. Everybody in the company got paid, but I didn't, and I was even taking my FAA income, which was a very good income, and I was contributing it back to the business. And about 7 years ago, I joined up with Pullworks, which is a franchise organization. They helped me get straight on the business side of it, dealing with people like you, getting tips and tricks, and just some of it's just so freaking obvious when somebody points it out to you, but I would just struggle. And now a lot of that's been lifted. I'm understanding business better. Now my business pretty much runs itself, and I got into podcasting. And
that's how you got too much time on your hands, when you start doing a damn podcast.
Darren Gruner reached out to me, said, "Hey man, you want to do a podcast?" I'm like, "Podcast? I don't even listen to podcasts."
Yeah. And the hell's podcast?
and I didn't know what I was doing. And our first few episodes were so bad. I mean, the sound was bad. Remember Saturday Night Live? Hi, welcome to, Deep Talk. And it was just horrible. But me and the wife, and she's on the show with me, and she's the talent. I'm just the information, and she don't know nothing about pools, and I don't know nothing about entertaining. So we just, it works out.
You guys are like a football announcing crew where you have like the dude that's the play-by-play, and then the color commentator that actually knows how to do the entertaining things and sprinkle the things. You're the play-by-play. You're saying here's what's going on, and then your wife can jump in with some color commentary.
She's the color, and I'm the black and white. But it worked out. I mean, we're doing really well. We're getting tons of downloads now. We got a lot of followers. And we're really enjoying it. And I travel. We travel a lot. And when you're doing a podcast, this is something cool. If you do a podcast, something media, everywhere you go is a business write-off.
Everywhere,
because you're doing podcast everywhere you go. You're talking to somebody, you're getting somebody on the freaking podcast. And it's a great way to do something you love, mix it with what puts a little bit of money in your pocket, and your business is running itself. And I've kind of found the happy ground. So here I be.
It is interesting too. I find I read less business books and I listen to less other podcasts because I'm talking to business owners multiple times a week as a result of me interviewing them. And I'm just like, you can only absorb so much, right? It'd be like, if you went to a convention every week, you'd be like, I just got to knock this off. This is way too much like information coming at me. It is amazing. Like the stuff you can pick up from just talking to other business owners. It's a blast. And hopefully, I like to curb this as a business entertainment show. I hope people learn a lot from listening to Home Service Happy Hour, but I sure as hell hope they don't feel like they're learning a lot, because I think there's a knack in that, right? Like if you can learn from something that you can be like greatly entertained by, that's the sweet spot. Nobody wants to sit and read or listen to a textbook. Like, give me something that keeps me engaged. Give me some fun.
You know, people learn a lot from absorbing, not consuming, just absorbing, just being around it. You know, you hear a song enough times, you're not listening to the song, but you hear it enough over time, you can repeat it. You know, you can sing along, and you never really studied or read the lyrics or whatever, but you know, there's something good about that. And me and Jackie, you know, we get along, we goof off the first 5-10 minutes of the show, and apparently that's entertaining. I've people tell me they sold their pool, but they still listen to the podcast, and they listen to our opening. As soon as we start talking about pools, they turn it off.
yeah. I just want to hear you guys.
Hey, it's a download, right? It's a download. Yeah. I'm good. You know,
Hell yeah. That's fun.
So, but we're loving it. We're really enjoying it. It's you know, it's making life fun again.
Let me hit this. Ryan Crowley checking in. He says, sounds like me. Great pool guy, great pressure washing guy, horrible business owner. Ryan, did you get your money back for Ryan won a drone at the last convention I was at with him, but it was like a $40,000 drone, and I think he ended up spending more, and then he never got it.
Oh my gosh,
which is not ideal. Ryan, chime in. Did you ever get that thing? Ellie checking in. She says, great story. Cole's checking in. He said, hey Dan, excited to see you at Sales Boost. Do me a favor on this, you guys. If you are going to Sales Boost, drop a note in here. Give me a fist bump. Give me a beer mug. Give me a beer mug emoji. And if you aren't going, stay tuned, because we still have a Sales Boost ticket to give away yet tonight. We'll see. I like the emoji thing. That emoji thing was just so much fun. I'm curious to see what a new crowd would come up with of those that aren't going.
Do you have the same crowd during your day show as you do in your night show?
There's some overlap for sure, but it tends to be a little bit of a different audience, just from who is available at 3 Central Time, 4 Eastern versus like who's available now. It's a different crowd.
So do you think the night crowd, you'll get more eggplants?
I don't
emojis.
Even if it was the same person, I think you'd get more eggplants. I think their state of mind is different come 9-10 o'clock than it was.
There's a couple beers in them.
When they're finishing up the day. And I mean, like, I think hopefully most people are sitting at home. As I say in the tagline when I drop a show, grab a couple cold ones, enjoy the show responsibly. I hope they're kicking back, having a beer, having a cocktail, having a glass of wine, enjoying some free business entertainment. So I would hope there'd be some eggplants and some poopy smiley faces and some whatever else. I don't know what they're all called, but like, the good ones, the good ones. There were 2 that I was like pretty tight on earlier today, which was they had like stories involved in them. One was, hey, here's like the story of the day in the business owner's life. And so it was like a set of emojis, like waking up, and then coffee, and then a rocket, and then a firework, and then like some depression, and then some celebration. And so it like told the story of a day as a business owner. And I was like, that was a pretty good one. There's another one where it was like spewing money, and then like a monkey covering his eyes, and then covering his ears, and then covering his mouth, and then like then a celebration, then a beer mug, and then a tropical island. And I was like, man, both of those were just pretty, like there was a story in those emojis, or at least what I deemed to be a story. So I had a lot of fun reading those. They
could have just been entering crap, and you made a story.
I mean, hey, most of the shit that we tell ourselves in life is just the story that we made up, Like, it might not be what somebody intended us to take out of their lesson, but it's what we took. Like that's kind of like the beauty of being a human, is you can tell yourself whatever the fuck story you want. Yeah. And it's yours. And I do find as business owners, we also have to be careful that we tell our story versus letting somebody else tell it for us. So that's a good point. That's an important lesson, because everybody's going to try to tell your story for you. So make sure you're the one telling it instead of letting other people tell it. But people love stories. They're gonna tell themselves some sort of story. So help them along. Or if they give you something without a story, make one up so they have to defend themselves. That's super fun. If they're like unwilling to tell you a story, you just jump in and be like, well, since you're not going to tell me what's going on, here's what I'm going to tell you that I'm going to tell everybody else, because this is the story I'm telling myself. And then they're like, whoa. And then you get them to tell you the story, because they're like, oh shit, I don't want you making a bunch of stuff up. And it's like, well, if you don't tell me, I'm just going to make a bunch of stuff up.
Start telling their story for them.
Yeah, I'm
I
gonna
like
start
that.
telling your story
I
for
like
you.
that.
Ryan Crowley did us a favor. He dropped a little eggplant. Thanks, Ryan.
Thanks,
Um, Doug Brown says this loser can't make it. Sales boost 2025. All right, we'll give away some sales boost 20. Maybe if Doug, if you win, I'm gonna give you a ticket to sales boost 2025. That's my story. They didn't tell me I couldn't. They just said I got to give away a ticket to sales boost. They didn't tell me I couldn't give away a 2025 sales boost ticket. So
where is sales boost?
Wilmington, North Carolina. Look at this. We already got a string of emojis coming in. We got somebody swimming in a pool, a ninja, a mermaid. Is that a heart on wheels? That's small. A lady in a bathtub. Another thing that I can't quite tell what it is, and then another person in a bathtub, then an airplane, and then a pool floaty, or like a rescue floaty. That's pretty cool.
Is that my story?
Fucking might as well be.
That's my story right there.
Yeah. Just told your story. See, I told you somebody was
I don't know where the bathtub come in, but I rarely bathe.
Yeah. So. Doug says, wait, I won earlier. What shit is this? Hey, Doug, I hadn't told myself this story earlier. I hadn't thought that this is something that we could do until just now, but now I realize this is something we could do. I'll give you can get a ticket to 2025 next year. Let's give away a 2024 ticket. That's more fun. You're still out, Doug. You're out. It's your fault you're out. It's nobody else's fault. You're busy with stuff. It's fine. Ryan says, when I win this ticket, I'll be going to sales boost. I like that. He is in production as of 2 days ago. Frank, I want to talk a little bit about your the flight stuff, the airplane stuff. How the hell? What is it? The
air traffic control.
Yeah. How the hell did you get into that? What prompts you to be like, I'm going to do this?
This is 6, 7, about probably 5 years after graduating high school, and I ran into a friend that was a few years older than me, and he said, "Yeah, I'm just in town. I'm an air traffic controller now in Pango, which is American Samoa."
That's a made up place. That's not a real place. You made that shit
No,
up.
I'm sorry. He was Marshall Islands. That's where he was.
See, I told you made it up. I didn't know that you made it up, but you made it up.
Well, and so I'm like, air traffic control, how'd you get into that? He's like, man, you just go down and you take this test. And, if you score good enough, you become an air traffic controller. So I was like, well, sounds like a deal to me. So, because I'm always a hell of a test taker. So I went in and took this test and got a 94. And I'm like, I'm in like Flint, man. And so I called them up, said, hey, when can I expect to get in? And they said, well, for certain reasons due to,
wait, were they like, oh yeah, you scored a 94, but Frank, it's out of 200. So
no. They said typically I would have got in, but because of who they were hiring at the time, it was going to take a 96. I'm like, crap. And so I was like, well, okay. So I went and joined I was kind of not liking what I was doing at the time. Went and joined the Navy, just went through boot camp and A school and got out into the reserves and went and took the test again. And this time I had a little aviation knowledge and I found out you can study for the test.
Oh, that helps.
Which I did not know. Who knew? And there's books and everything. So the second time I took it with the extra points, I ended up getting a 104. And okay, now I'm freaking in. I mean, because, it's the test tops out at 100. So I got a 104, got hired.
It is out of 200. If you got 104, how can you get 104?
They gave me 4 extra points for aviation knowledge because I didn't have that before. So it's like 100 on the score. Then you can get extra points for aviation knowledge.
Sounds like middle school when I was.
Yeah. Well, I mean, people are graduating with like 4.8 GPAs out of 4.
Yeah.
I mean, I kind of did that.
Bonus.
So, but that's how I fell into it. And I loved it. I absolutely loved it. It was good money, but it wasn't good enough for me to do everything I wanted to do, provide for my kids the way I want to provide. So, I still did stuff on the side. I was still a journeyman electrician. We're still working on getting my master's and then I fell into the pool business, literally. So
I think that's like a common trait of small business owners too, is just like, we can't help ourselves. We got to have a thing to like weirdly obsess over. And a job just never quite cuts it because somebody else is going to tell us what to do. And we just all have a weird aversion to that. I was talking earlier today with somebody about my aversion to marketing. I hate being marketed to. And I think it falls into the category of somebody's trying to get me to do something. Like, I'm the biggest contrarian. If you want me to do something, tell me not to do it. I'll show you. I'll show you. Right.
Don't up front manipulate me.
Yeah.
Coming around from the rear. All right. I get it.
You better not come right at me. You better manipulate me, so I don't realize you're doing it. Then I'm in. Ryan says, hey, I quit my 80K year job to spray water on houses. Ryan, there's probably something you can learn from a pool guy here. Like, there's some chemistry going on. I want to get to some of the chemistry. Doug says he can't go because it's darn planting season. I don't know, Doug, like, I'm not sure how familiar with the calendar you are, but in 2025, planting season is going to be about the same time again.
Ooh.
I just, so I don't know. Like, I think that's how the calendar works. Maybe it'll be a longer winter so you can push it back. But you're going to have a conundrum on your hands, friend. But I do like he says, it's darn planting season. Got to get the corn in to feed the deer so my wife can hit them with their car. She smashed one up.
It'll fatten them up.
Yeah, got to get them in the way. Facebook user says it was easy to get in back then when it was just the Wright brothers flying. That had to be heckybus.
Well, I will say this: the first plane I ever talked to was a pterodactyl. So it was a while back.
You can ride that, baby. Doug's dropping double tractor, double corn. Are those supposed to be kidney beans or are those deer
Maybe
turds?
It's just
those deer turds. Then we got a couple deer, and then we got the Jeep. Maybe they're supposed to be soybeans, but they don't really look like soybeans to me. Doug, what kind of beans are those?
They look like kidney to me.
They look like kidney beans, or maybe deer turds kind of have that kidney shape to them. So maybe they're deer turds, followed by a couple deer. Ryan said he started pool cleaning and maintenance last year. Made more doing that than pressure washing in 23. No shit, I didn't know you got into that, Ryan. That's pretty cool. What I just remembered this. Check this out, Frank. You guys see this? Let me see. I gotta do a screen share. So for all of you podcast listeners later, you can imagine what this would be like. This was my favorite tattoo placement of the Dan tat.
Love it.
Michelle,
that's the Dan tat.
That's the Dan tat. And it stayed there for like weeks. I mean, like, she tried scrubbing it off the next day. All that she had then was that tattoo and a really red area around it from the irritation of trying to get it off. It was the most permanent temporary tattoo. And then
that's awesome.
I think this might have been Rob here going down towards the cheek. He went low. For what it's worth, Ryan's was about 4 inches lower than that. Ryan Crowley had his squared in the center, but well below belt line. It was very, very
that's just unprofessional.
Which was perfect. That's exactly what it was supposed to be. That's exactly what it was meant for. Doug said he just put the beans in. Ryan says, I thought mine was your fave. Ryan, it's pretty love-hate. The idea of where you put yours was my favorite. Actually seeing it there was like when you see somebody's plumbers crack and then you're like, oh, and then you got to look back at it because you're like, did I just see that? It was kind of like that. It's like, did he really put it that? Whoa, like I gotta look again. Oh God, Ryan. It was like that. Like the idea of it being there was my favorite. I don't know. Am I explaining that well? You know what I mean, right?
It's like a car wreck. Let me look. And then you see a severed head. You're like, whoa. And
yeah, I didn't want to
look right back at the severed head.
What I just saw. Yeah. Yeah. All right. Doug says, I'm planting this year due to family health issue on the master planter 25. He back in the seat. All right. We'll hold you to it, Doug. We'll see you 2025 Sales Boost. Sales Boost is a fun show because it's most conventions are like industry specific, I find. And so you kind of just run into the same people talking about the same stuff over and over again. I like some of the shows that spread across the entire home service space so that you're really like, you're getting new viewpoints, fresh perspective, fresh speakers, fresh vendors. I just like to mix it up. I think Sales Boost is good for that.
I
Frank,
did 8 trade shows this year, the pool shows, and it
how'd
got
they
old.
go?
Well, they went great. I mean, but it forced me to get creative because
wasn't there one just a couple weeks ago?
Yeah, well, that was Carecraft, which is a buying group, which I'm a member of. I went to that one. Part of that was the Porks convention, but then I did I think I did a couple Florida shows. I did Atlantic City. I did San Antonio, Texas. I did Dallas, Texas. That one was convenient, but built up some miles this year.
Yeah, what's a normal audience at one of those shows? Is it a couple hundred people, a couple thousand people? What do you run into?
There's typically anywhere from 100 to probably 150 actually vendors.
Mm-hmm.
And I really don't know the numbers, but it's a few thousand. It's a few thousand. The pool guys, there's a lot of training that guys are trying to get to and take advantage of, and just seeing the new products, because the pool industry is kind of lagging behind the rest of the world as far as technology goes. And so people are starting to bring it out, and it's really sparking some interest and getting guys out there wanting to learn about it.
Well, I was going to get into that. Like, one of the things, I mean, I grew up with the pool, so I knew it needed chlorine and I knew it needed to be stabilized and this and that. When I actually owned one and had to start taking care of it, I was like, damn, I'm like a chemist all of a sudden.
Yep.
Like, I feel like I'm always doing a science project. The first year we had it coming down the stretch, and I don't even remember what it was that caused it. We got like a weird purple ring all the way around on the liner, right at the surface level of the water.
Yeah, stabilizer and copper.
Yeah, it was metals in there, and then we wiped it off, but then they ended up back on the bottom of the pool. And then you try to vacuum them out, but then they're so fine, they like filter right back through, and then like it looked like a purple Smurf died in my pool. And it was like a year to try to like get all that shit out. Like, I remember vacuuming it out to waste, shooting it out to the road basically, and then refilling the pool with hose water, and it was in the fall, so like the pool water was like 50 degrees, and I was like getting in it with a wetsuit on because I had to like physically scrub the side to get that shit off. Yeah. What the hell caused that? What was it?
It's basically it's copper cyanurate, and it's, if your stabilizer levels, if you use stabilized chlorine, that's cyanuric acid, it and your water gets out of balance. Mm-hmm. That copper and cyanuric acid will blend, and it creates a purple stain. And some people like the purple stain. I mean, it's not a bad purple, but you just don't want it in your freaking pool, and it's common. It's common. And there's a lot more to water chemistry than just chlorine and a little bit of acid.
I found that out the hard way.
And that's why we get called.
Yeah,
that's what keeps us in business.
It's deceiving because like I look at the water, it looks crystal clear. It looks great, right? And then and that just isn't as meaningful as I thought it was. I thought that meant I'm good, but it didn't mean that.
Well, if you think about it, if you're well hydrated, your pee is going to be pretty clear, but you don't want to swim in it.
That's a good point. But I think I'd rather swim in the clear stuff versus the yellow stuff.
Who knows? I mean, there may be nutrients in the yellow. I don't know.
Hey, one time when I was in Florida, I got stung by a jellyfish and I had to pee on my leg. That's a true story. So I might as well.
You couldn't talk anybody else into doing it?
I was like 10, so it would have been pretty weird to get peed on by anybody else at that age. They probably would have got thrown in jail. I don't think anybody would pee on a 10-year-old. Like, nobody would take that chance, right? If it was your buddy, you'd be like, I'm gonna piss on you. This is gonna be great. I'm gonna like make fun of you forever that I got to pee on you. But no,
I'm sure there's a
10-year-old.
There's probably a few pervs on the beach who would have gladly, watch me pee on this kid.
Yeah, you're right. There's probably a couple assholes out there. I feel like if you did that now, you'd be in jail for like 3 years.
You would.
Yeah. But if it was your buddy, you'd totally piss on him.
Oh no, yeah. I'd piss on everything but this jellyfish thing.
Yeah. Whoa. Oh, sorry. Whoa.
Oh, sorry, it's windy, man.
Hey, whoa. Yeah. You'd enjoy the hell out of that. Ryan says hearing this out loud is making me absolutely laugh my ass off. It's true. True. Had to pee on myself. It was the wound was around, like, it was a Portuguese man of war, and its tentacles like wrapped around my foot and my calf. So I just like had to just let her rip down the leg, kind of covered all of it. And they made me put a raw steak on it. None of it really seemed to help. It was one of those things where I was like, you guys all just fucking with me here? Like, you're making me pee on myself. Now I'm like wasting a $30 steak on my leg. I mean, I was only 10, so I didn't really question what adults were telling me, but I was like, all I know is like it hurt like the Dickens, and it still hurts like the Dickens. And like it was a spring break vacation, and I missed like the last 4 days of the vacation just sitting there with like ice on it. Thing hurt like the son of a gun.
So I've never had I've been in the ocean several times. I've never come across a jellyfish.
Yeah, you don't want to. I still I think I was 10, and so I still kind of look back on it and I wonder, like, was I just a little bitch? Right? Like when you're 10, how you perceive pain is way different than when you're an adult. Like when you're 10, you're still at the cusp where when you get hurt, you cry. You're like kind of getting over that. I think there's somewhere when you hit double digits where you get hurt and you're like, ow. Like you just like whatever the trigger is. Like, yeah, whatever that trigger is that causes you to cry when you get hurt, you lose it somewhere in middle school or high school. And I don't know what we should have somebody on to talk about that. I wonder why that is. I'm not a super teary guy, but like I'll cry if it's like an emotional thing, but I won't cry from a pain thing. I don't know what when that trigger gets tripped, but that was a tears out pain thing. And so in my mind, I remember it as being really painful, but maybe I was just a whiny little bitch when I was 10. And if it happened as an adult, I'd be like, yeah, that hurts, but I'm just going to keep doing whatever I'm doing, you know? I don't know. There's only one way to find out, Frank. I'm going back to Florida to go swim with some Portuguese man-o-war jellyfish. I might go get stung a couple times and see how I do. You want to be there to piss on me?
If it's across your forehead, I'm in.
Hold still now. Hold your breath. Don't breathe in real fast here. Hold still.
Well, and somehow I'm going to convince you. You know what they say? Poo is much better than.
Oh, come on. I'm not falling for that. I'd have to be in a lot of pain to fall for that. Here's a science question for you. Back to the pool. I have 3 kids, and then we have a shitload of cousins, and there's always little kids swimming in my pool, and they're pissing all over in that thing.
Yes, like, they are.
How disgusting is that? Is the chlorine handling it? Do I need to like double down on the chlorine, or am I just swimming in a toilet?
You know, chlorine will, unless you have large amounts of chlorine, the chlorine will combine up with pee or sweat. Pee and sweat, by the way, are basically the same chemical makeup.
Oh, so damn! Just because I totally jump in there after I run when I'm all sweaty. So I'm
part of and you're combining up chlorines by doing that. And it's going to take more chlorine to wipe that out. And it just, but kids are peeing in the water. That's what happens. There are some diseases that are passed through pee, and but poop or crap is the worst. There's so many things in crap that will kill you.
I haven't had a floater in there yet.
But there's a study. Some guy in Arizona, some professor in Arizona did a study, and he said the average human, after taking a hot soapy shower, still has like 0.4 grams of fecal matter on them after a shower. And I guess they're saying the average guy, but
yeah, we are filthy animals. We are disgusting.
And you got kids, right? Dude, your kids go jump in the pool. Have you ever seen the skid marks and even the good kids?
Mm-hmm. Yeah, they're
the skid marks.
They don't know how to wipe their butt.
There's so much crap getting in water, and that's why you got to have good sanitizer levels so we don't die from it. But we swim in ponds, we swim in creeks. They got all the natural filtration and everything. But a concentrated, like you go to a public pool and this chlorine smell just knocks you over, and everybody's like, "Oh my God, they got way too much chlorine." No, that's chloramines. That's pee and sweat combined with chlorine, and it takes a whole lot more chlorine.
That's why it smells so much more.
Yes. If you walk up to, or you go out to your own pool and the chlorine smells real strong, it means you got combined chlorines in there. Somebody peed in it, or the sweat, you jumped in after, mowing the yard or whatever.
I do that. That's the treat for me for like 3 months out of the summer is I go for a run. Like over lunch, I usually go for a run, and instead of taking a shower, I cool down a little bit. I jump in the pool. It's just so refreshing to jump into like 78, 80 degree water when you're hot.
Yeah. You really should hose off first, but nobody does.
I'm glad I'm not the only disgusting dude.
Nah, everybody does it.
Hey, it's my damn pool.
It's your pool.
Everybody else has to deal with my gross disgustingness. It's my pool. I
now,
pay for the story.
If your 300-pound fat neighbor comes over and jumps in all sweaty, okay, now we got an issue.
Yeah. Whoa, hey, come on, bro. What was, so you've got the electrician experience. What is what's a more intense knowledge process? I imagine like electrical stuff, you got to know your shit, because if you, with the wrong voltage, if you zap yourself, you're pretty effed.
Well, when you're combining electricity with water, it's got to be right. Like here in the state of Texas, you have to be, it's not a full blown license like journeyman or master electrician, but you do have to have a REL license, which is a residential appliance installer license, to be able to work, work on timers, work on pumps, work on heaters, blowers, anything that has electricity. You got to have a license. Other than electricity, you can really judge one pool guy from the other by their knowledge of chemistry. And it really gets deep. You can keep it simple and still be good, but it really gets deep. And some people, I think, get too deep. It doesn't.
Those are the artisans. Those are the artisans, man.
Those are, but they get so buried in that they still suck at what they do. So not all of them, but
yeah.
You've seen the guys that they know everything about a certain topic, but they suck at it.
Well, I think there's that, but that guy can't grow a business, right? Because he can't get out of his own way, because he could never hire somebody and teach them to know this fractional thing that comes into play 1 out of 3,000 jobs, but he takes so much pride that he knows it, right?
Yeah.
Like you can't scale a business on these weird nuances. And so I think that goes back to like what skills do you need to be a business owner are different than the skills you need to be like good at the task that the business does. You need to be proficient. You need to have good systems and processes, but being the expert of all experts isn't necessarily going to help you be a good business owner.
No, there's guys out there that are extremely successful, and they're not good pool guys. And then there's guys that are horrible. They're opening and closing businesses every other year, but they're fantastic pool guys. They can't meet in the middle. Their strengths are too strong on one side and they're too weak on the other. And
that should really be like, maybe not the manager at a good pool business with a good business person. Maybe they, like, a lot of times the super nerdy chemist dude that knows all the things about the thing isn't a great manager necessarily.
Yep.
But there's a role in a company for him rather than being a business owner. And it's probably just finding like the right business owner to pair with, where you get to design the processes and the policies and make sure that all the science is known, but you don't need to be the leader and the grower.
Yeah. That's where a lot of franchising, can help some people. It's not for everybody. It's definitely not for everybody, but typically the franchise is going to bring you business aspect where you can concentrate on your strengths. And, it helped me a lot, but again, it's definitely not for everybody.
Well, and so much of it, like you said, it's once you know it, you're like, oh shit, like that wasn't that complicated. Like I could have figured that out, but maybe you would have figured it out in 2, 3, 4 years. And now you just get to use it because it's already been figured out.
Right.
You don't have to debate it. You don't have to think about it. So it just expedites your learning curve so much faster, especially with systems and processes.
Yes.
Training stuff, marketing stuff, some production related stuff, so it like can help you kind of stay out of the weeds and focus on the right things. But the struggle of being a business owner is, how do you prioritize all these systems and processes? We tend to prioritize the shit that we know the most. And that might be, if you are an artisan of pool chemistry, like you might prioritize the hell out of that, and you suck at marketing, you suck at training, and you suck at infrastructure spend, and you suck at organizing your truck. And so you're never going to be able to scale a business. Like, you don't have the systems and processes to actually grow the thing. You just focus on the thing that you know, and you focus more and more and more on it because it's all you really know.
I've had fantastic repair guys that could repair anything out there, but they can't get anything done during the day because they're so freaking unorganized. They
oh yeah, the gearhead.
They step out of their truck and 3 McDonald bags, and there's spilt Coke in the passenger seat, and you open up the back of their van and it just looks like a supply store just exploded or threw up in the back of their van. Half the crap that they thought they had is so buried in stuff, it's broken and now it's unusable.
Well, yeah, and you see them like go out to their truck to get stuff, and they're just like, it's that like they're throwing tools over their head. They're like, "Where's the fucking wrench?" It's like it's that, but they can fix anything.
Yep. And sometimes they don't have to find the right part; they'll make a part work. So. But and I love those guys. I love their knowledge, but but they just cannot get stuff accomplished.
Oh, go ahead. Sorry, I cut you off.
Oh, I'd say that's what it's all about. It's what do you get done? It ain't what you know. It's what do you get done?
Yeah, it is. Especially, I mean, like, is assuming it's a business and not a hobby, you better be producing something to help somebody out.
Yeah.
I got a handful of comments/questions that I want to hit here. Some really interesting ones. We're gonna get through Cole's question, and then we're giving away a ticket to Sales Boost. Just decided it right now. Let's do this. I'm gonna combine 2 things that we're doing right now. If you are interested in getting a free ticket to Sales Boost, you need to tell a story. You need to tell a pool story via emoji. You get unlimited opportunities. I'm going to read the story as I see it, and Frank's going to decide which story he likes the most. So you have to contend with both of us. You put in your story via emoji. I'm going to interpret it. Frank's going to decide which interpretation he likes the most. So think about how I tell stories, and Frank's been on here for an hour, so you can maybe see what he likes. Think about how I tell a story and which one of those stories Frank is going to like. And that's what's going to dictate who wins a free $1,000-some ticket to Sales Boost. That's what we're going to do.
Sounds like a plan.
You get, if you're listening, you get unlimited entries. Go for it. Go nuts. I'm not going to read the ones that I don't like. I'm only going to pick my favorite ones. Here's a quick one. We're just going to bounce around between these. Doug says, Frank, have you ever fell in while working on a pool?
You're not a good pool guy if you have not fallen in.
You're not pushing your limits yet.
No, you're too careful. No, I've fallen in. It's at least twice a year. It's
how many phones have you gone through when you did fall in?
It used to be a lot. Nowadays a phone can take it. But boy, I used to go through a couple phones a year. I mean,
man, I think about that a lot when I'm just even cleaning my pool, like one step close to the edge. You're just like, I'm scooping this and I'm leaning here and just whoop.
Well, probably half the phones I lost were I just forgot they were in my pocket and I had to get in the pool on purpose.
Just like I'm going in.
And I get in there and I accidentally brush up against my pocket and I feel something hard and square.
Like,
I'm like,
damn it.
Oh crap.
There goes another one. You just got like a phone graveyard in your truck.
Boy, I've gone through a lot of phones. I go through typically one a year. In some years it's multiple. So
it's part of the fun.
Yep.
Business write-off. Ryan threw this out there, I think directed at me. So I want your take on it, Frank. He said, get a saltwater system. It'll change your life. There's like chlorine There's, which is what I have, chlorine and a sand filter and whatever else. Isn't there something that starts with a B that's like not chlorine, but it tastes
Bromine.
bromine? Yeah, is that a thing?
Yeah.
Is that worth looking into?
Well, bromine, you can't protect it from the sun, which is why we have the cyanuric acid, which is what stains your pool purple. We put cyanuric acid in, it will protect chlorine from UV rays. You cannot do that with bromine. So an outdoor pool, bromine's not a solution for that.
Not solution.
You'd have to feed too much.
What so it's either chlorine or salt water. What's the trade-off? And like, I'm up in Minneapolis, obviously we get 3 months out of the year. Is salt water an option for somebody like me, or is it like you're relegated?
No, I think up north, salt water is probably a better option, but you got to watch your water balance, your chemistry a little closer. Mm-hmm. People think it's just set it and forget it, but it's not that easy. Down here in Texas, our environment's much more harsh. Our season's much longer. Our water gets much warmer, and it's a much bigger struggle with salt here. I prefer, even pools on route, I prefer not to have salt because you lose your balance quicker in a salt pool. I'm a big borate guy, which is a whole different additive, but salt is a chlorine pool.
Oh, it is.
Yes. You're taking the sodium chloride, you're separating it, you're making sodium and chlorine. Oh, actually, it's not sodium and chlorine, it's other breakdown, but you're creating your own chlorine. And it's up where you're at, because your water doesn't get real hot during the summer. Salt's probably a pretty good option, and that would probably get you all the way through with a little extra acid. It's really good in Florida for some reason. There's up in the Northeast, it does really good. I think on the West Coast, it does pretty good. But here in Texas, it's not bad. I'm not anti-salt. I just think you have more control with traditional chlorine.
Is there like a cost savings to go on the salt route, or is it kind of a break even?
It's kind of a break even, and that's why I'm not on board with it. If I'm going to spend $2,000-$3,000 put in a salt system, I better get an advantage.
Yeah.
And I'm not really getting an advantage. All I'm doing is changing my problems. I'm not, getting rid of problems. I'm just changing what they are, but I'm not anti-salt. And like I said, parts of the country, salt is the bomb. But here in North Texas, it's kind of a break even. And I'm not in this for break even.
No. Well, and I was just thinking, sorry, I'm like trying to get a beer out of this thing and it's giving me a hard time. I was just thinking the last couple of years, like chlorine got really expensive.
It got stupid.
Yeah, it's come down a little bit. So I was like, man, maybe salt is more stable in price-wise.
It got closer to being more worth it. But you know what? The manufacturers of the salt systems knew that. So guess what else went up?
Yeah, the substitute is up. So we're raising our price.
You're going to pay one way or the other. Like I said, but the good thing about the chlorine shortage, it's made people get better at what we do. We're more precise. It used to be just throw chlorine at it, throw chlorine at it, throw chlorine at it. Well, now that's, $2, $2, or $5. So we had to get better at what we do, and, better water chemistry, more precise. And the industry's really turned a corner here. Guys are much more educated because they couldn't afford to stay in business. The cost of everything went up so freaking much. So they had to get better at what they do. They had to be more efficient, more effective, better products. And the average pool now, and the average pool guy is probably using a lot less chlorine than what they used to use. And they did it out of necessity. We kind of needed that, but I do wish the price would go back down.
When I grew up, like, you'd go and just get gallons of liquid chlorine from wherever the hell. And now I feel like it's all pucks. Yeah. Everybody's doing the pucks. Is there an advantage one way or the other? Because I do like the pucks. Although when I open that container, like, I can feel it in the back of my head. That smell just hits you right in the brain. Yeah. So strong.
Yeah, it can be. I've given myself pneumonia several times. Open a bucket, got a little moisture in it, and this green cloud, and you suck part of that in. Oh yeah. It'll kill you. If you get it bad enough, it'll kill you. But the way you get chlorine in your water is just the way you get chlorine in your water. And here in Texas, we don't use a whole lot of liquid. I use a lot of liquid in the winter to stay off a stabilizer because I try to get my stabilizer levels down over the winter. In South Florida, boy, that's all they use. In parts of California, that's all they use. But it doesn't matter whether you use liquid chlorine, whether you use cow hypo, whether you use tabs or use a salt system to create your chlorine. It doesn't matter. You still have to manage it. And you can go anywhere and manage your pool with whatever chemical you want as long as you manage it. But you can't, there is no magic pill. There isn't, if liquid's what's big in your area, then that's what you use because that's going to be
stabilizer.
Right. Like. And you're going to have, you're going to have more support. Your pricing is going to be better. Here in North Texas, price of liquids a lot more than what it is in South Florida, but I still like using it in certain situations. Mm-hmm. But, I don't think anybody can say this is the way to go because there's too many ways to go.
Yeah, it's always it depends setup.
Yes. And it's still water chemistry management. You can't just dump a bunch of one thing, or there's no product you can put in that solves all your problems. Now there's products that help, but man, there's no magic pill. And a lot of people get sucked into these magic pills just to find out down the road, it created more problems for them and more expensive problems. It just took 2 years to get to that point.
Yeah. Like when you get a purple ring around your pool and you guys scrub it off.
Exactly.
I saw
tabs are working great till the purple ring, right?
Yep. I overdid it. I was like more tabs. I think that was the problem. I think I way overdid
you were also using a copper algicide.
I don't know what the hell I was doing, Frank. I was just shoving shit in that pool. The more the better. Get more stuff in there. I'm sure it'll work. I'm sure it'll work great.
But see, guys like you are job security for guys like me.
Yeah, I pride myself in that. I'm gonna screw some stuff up, call somebody, pay them to fix my thing. I got some more questions. I'll throw this out there. Everybody that's watching, I got a sales boost ticket to give away. I saw one string come in here from Ryan. I think you can do better, Ryan. I'm gonna challenge you to do better. If you want a ticket to Sales Boost, Sales Boost is 2 weeks away. Wilmington, North Carolina. It's over $1,000 ticket. I think it's like a $1,200 ticket. I am giving it away for free on this show. Here's what you need to do to win a free ticket. I want your best pool story. You just make it up. Your best pool story told via emoji. Ryan had one that he dropped. There's some words in between. I kind of just want just emojis. Think about the picture's worth 1,000 words. And I'm going to tell the story via the emojis. I kind of prefer it without any words. So you got to be really thoughtful about the emojis. So I have creative liberty in what the story is. And then I'm going to read that story to Frank via your emojis. And Frank is going to pick the best story. And so think about how I tell stories and think about what Frank would find entertaining. That's what you need to do. Amber said, LOL. Amber's by me. She gets it. In Minnesota, it's just like, I got 3 months. I just got this pool. We're just going to throw some tabs in. We're just going to flood this baby up. We just got to go. And I got 5 nephews peeing in here, and I'd probably need more chlorine. So let it rip. All right. So if you guys want to take it, sorry, I got sidetracked. If you guys want to take it to Sales Boost, give me your emoji story, your best pool emoji story. I'm just going to tell it. And Frank's going to pick it. So drop them in and keep them coming. No limits. You drop 20 of them in a row if you want to. Get creative. Have some fun. I thought this was a really good one, Frank. Cole Sycophus says, maybe they do. And then there should be a comma in there. It's Cole. He just doesn't use commas. He's no comma guy. But I feel like at this point, they should have a system that continuously measures pool levels and automatically releases the correct chemical balance to said levels. Do you see levels of automation in this industry? And Frank, you had hinted at that earlier, that people are getting more serious and there's more technology coming. That is a thing where I'm just like, I am just not, I can put the little tab in with the different colors and be like, I need some of this and some of that and some of that. And I'm like, but I don't really know how much, right? If I go to the pool store, they're like, you need 15 pounds of this and 5 pounds of that, and then 10 pounds of this in this order. And then I get home and I'm just like, wait, what? Right. So it's like, there's probably a better way. I love the way Cole laid it out. Is that a thing that's coming down the pipeline? Is
Yes,
this a real
and
thing?
that's been around for a while. But the problem with it is that there's only certain things you can measure and dose. You can pH is a big one. That's huge on your Langmuir saturation index and your water balance. And there's chlorine or sanitizer. And that's been around for a long, long time. It's been used in commercial for a long time. It is a little bit expensive. But the biggest problem I've seen with those on especially like the home systems is anything that measures has to be calibrated on a regular basis.
Yeah.
And people, they're just trusting this thing. It's reading off, it's dosing acid, dosing acid, dosing acid. Next thing they know, they're freaking, if they got a plaster pull or even a vinyl, it's bleached out. You're eating the freaking plaster off the wall. If you got a heater, it's leaking because you've done freaking ate through the copper heat exchanger. They're great, but there is no set it and forget it. You still got to go in there. You still got to do calibration on a regular basis. They do a good job. They really do, of sense and dispense. And that's becoming more in the backyards and not so much just commercial, but it's not there where it's homeowner friendly. We all know what homeowners are like. We get involved too until we're bored, and then everything goes to hell.
And I got 3 little kids, right? And so it's like it's relevant until it's not. Like, oh, this weekend I've got time to work on my pool, so I'm thinking about it and I'm doing this, and then I'm out in the back by the garden, and so I'm by the pool and I'm gonna clean it and do this. And then we're out of town for a week, and then the next week we got the kids doing this and that, and so it's like 2 weeks before I even think about the pool again, and shit hits the fan. Like that's a common thing for me. I'm just like, oh shoot, I should have messaged my in-laws and told them to go throw some pucks in or do something. Like, I don't even know what the pool needs, but it probably needs some more pucks. So go throw some shit in there and we'll figure it out.
And for guys like you need to find somebody that would do vacation service. If you can watch, or you're just getting busy, you're 12 hours a day you're putting into your business, or you're doing podcast or whatever, hey, for the next month, can you take care of my pool? And, just go ahead and hire somebody, do what you're good at. Let somebody else do what they're good at. I don't even mow my own freaking yard. I don't even service my own freaking pool. I got guys for that, but but it's not, I would rather do what I like to do and pay somebody else to do what they're good at. And just take the load off me.
Hell yeah.
And I can judge my guys, see what kind of job they're doing.
I do like the chemistry of the pool is not my favorite thing, but I like swimming in the pool, sure. But it's also skimming it or vacuuming it or anything like that is just got this
therapeutic,
cathartic. I throw the earbuds in. I'm just out there. I'm outside for an hour, getting a pasty ass sunburn all over me.
Watching your shoulders swell as you're
just out doing man stuff. But it is like usually when I'm out there, it's just kind of like me doing my thing, and I'm usually and the kids are running around being crazy, and I'm just like in my little happy place. It's some super enjoyable work, so I don't mind like messing with it. Which like mowing the lawn can be that too, but the hard part with both of those things is it's therapeutic until you're like, fuck, I gotta go do that thing.
You have to do it.
Yeah, you can't like not do it. If it goes long enough without you doing it, then it just creates so much more work. So it's a bit of a give and take. I see Amber Elise jumped in. She said, yeah, enjoy that pool for 3 months. She knows. She lives up on me. It's just what we got.
I don't get why y'all get pools up there. I really don't. I mean, we're swimming typically mid-April. We're swimming all the way through September, and you guys, you're shoveling snow at the end of September.
Here's the deal, though, Frank. Anything like that's in small doses, you appreciate so much more.
Yeah, I guess you would.
When you only have 3 months of it, every day where it's over 80, it's like, fuck everything else. We're doing the pool. Right? It's just like, it just becomes this awesome obligation when it's nice out. Like we have the pool at my house, and throughout the rest of the year, like we'll go to my in-laws or this aunt and uncles or that cousins or whatever. Like when it's summertime, everybody's here, and they know like everybody has the door code. The fun happens here for 3 months. There's no other place that shit's happening. It happens at my house, which I like. Like I love grilling. I love hanging out. I catch a lot of fish, so we do a lot of fish fries. Like it's a 3-month gauntlet of like multiple times a week we're having people over and having fun. And so it's just like I don't know that I could do it for any more than 3 months. I think I mean, they're my in-laws, right? Like you can only handle so much of them. I'd probably be totally sick of them. But for like a few months in a row, like we have a hell of a lot of fun hanging out here.
Yeah.
Because it's just the spot where it's happening. But if it was 6 months, I'd be like, oh my God, you guys got to get out of here. Like, what are you doing here every day? I can't handle it.
You know, it's kind of like snow for us. When it gets cold and we got a front coming, almost everybody I know is like, man, I hope we get some snow. That's the last freaking thing you guys want to see is more snow. But we dig it because it's more rare to us and we get to enjoy it. We don't know how to sled. Most of us can't ice skate. We dang sure can't ski around here. The only good hills we have around here are overpasses. You know, so we don't have a whole lot of, you know, ways to enjoy the snow, but we just want, you know, and when it snows here, the world shuts down. You know, nobody works.
Really you guys just are not prepared for a freeze. You can't handle it.
Nope. We're okay in a freeze. We're not okay in a freeze when you lose power. That's where everything goes to crap.
I wrong piped an IPA. What?
Pee on it.
IPAs are the worst the wrong pipe because they have like that bitter tinge to them. One time, like absolutely true story, I was working in the corporate world, but we were at like a volunteer event that I had coordinated and orchestrated, and the person on the board of this charity was the president of my business. Like I think we had 800 employees, and this was the president of that company in a company with like it was Cargill, huge agriculture company, 70 some businesses, 150,000 employees across the globe, like huge company.
Wow.
And I'm hanging out with like some of the VPs and the president of my company, and I took a swig of an IPA and it just hit my throat wrong, and it like caused me to cough immediately, and I like covered their faces in my beer. It was like one of those embarrassing things, but you're just like, I feel bad, but I don't know what else. I don't like, I'm just already over it. Sorry. Let me get you a towel. And it was at a bowling alley. Like it was a bowling charity thing. And I just walked up after that, I rolled a turkey, 3 strikes in a row. I was just like, I'm going to spit beer on you guys more often. This is working really well. It was definitely one of those things where it could have gone way worse. You just had to like roll with it. But the way I just choked on that IPA just brought me right back to then. I was just like, oh man, I'm gonna spit all over Frank's face, and then he's gonna pee on me. It's like it's gonna happen. We got.
Hey, can I step away and grab me a beer?
You gotta grab a beer. Grab a beer.
Right. I'm sorry, I didn't bring one in with me, and I'm sitting here watching you drink, and I'm all jealous.
I was gonna say,
what does it say? We just stayed at a place in Florida last week.
You go get a beer. You go get a beer. I was gonna read this.
All right, well, leave it up.
You got to go get a beer. Amber's chiming in. She said, we stayed at a place in Florida last week, and the pool guy told us the levels were really bad. I feel like you should bet levels, because I'd have been like the water's high? Water's low? What does that even mean? She had no idea what he's talking about, but he had to add a crap ton of chlorine. No idea what we were swimming in. According to Frank, you're probably swimming in just a pile of piss. Hopefully it was just piss. Like I said earlier, I got a bunch of nephews and cousins and whoever swimming in my pool. Every time I get in there, I'm just like, who knows what's going on in here? But Amber, if you didn't check in earlier, I also like one of my favorite things to do in the summer is midday, like over lunchtime, I'll go out, go for a run, exercise some way, somehow. I'm a sweaty, smelly dude, and I just jump my ass in the pool. Like that is how I cool down after a run, and I'm gross and sweaty. And Frank said that's basically the same as peeing in the pool. So I'm as guilty as any. I'm as guilty as any of my nephews or kiddos, whoever's peeing in my pool. I'm jumping in it all sweaty, so I'm right there with them. We got some emojis rolling in. Ryan Crowley's dropping a few. I saw Amber dropped a few. We got generic Facebook user. Quite the story here. That one's going to keep me busy for a little bit. I'm going to have to do some searching. Said just for shits and giggles, beer in hand. Cole's got it. Cole's got quite the story line here going on. That's going to take me a little bit to work my way through.
Can you go back to Amber's story?
Yeah. Here we go.
I didn't get it.
Yeah, so they were staying in Florida last week. Pool guy said the levels were really bad. I'm throwing levels in air quotes. Yeah. The levels were bad.
Levels.
She had no idea what he's talking about, but they had to add a crap. She said Tom. She meant ton. Crap Tom of chlorine. So she said she's got no idea what they were swimming in. But
you're swimming in a crap ton of chlorine. I'm sure he got there and probably they had zeroed chlorine out. And there's the worst thing about swim pools, there's stuff in it that'll kill you. So that's why you got to have the chlorine. And I'm sure he tested and there's nothing in there. And if it, obviously it was I guess it was what do they call it? Airbnb or whatever. And the last people who knows what they did to it. And they shocked the fire out of it.
Yeah.
And you probably shouldn't swim for a few hours.
Nothing living in this thing.
Birds are flying over and just.
I do every once in a while. We'll get some ducks that land in our pool in the springtime. That's always kind of fun. But
run them off. Run them.
I was to say, how much shit are we swimming in when we get ducks swimming in there?
Ducks are the worst. We don't get them until y'all, until a month after y'all saw them.
Yeah.
And they, they crap dang near pure algae. There's a lot of crypto and crap like that in their poop, so, and the stain, it totally wipes out your chlorine. Now, ducks are the arch enemy of the pool guy.
So you're saying a BB gun. Let them get out of the pool. They like to hang out right on the edge of the pool. I'll let them get out of the pool. And then a BB gun, and then I'll get some marinade out and we'll fire up the grill.
No, I did get to do some coping repair from a shotgun blast from a guy trying to run off his ducks.
Yeah, I think I'd try to be a little more precise than a shotgun.
Not the smartest guy, but
no, I got a lot of neighbors. I am pretty good with the bow and arrow, though. I could probably crack open the sliding door and pop one with the bow.
That'd be good. I'm anti-duck. I mean, I don't. Yeah. Okay. Yeah.
Waterfowl. I don't. Frank, you just marinate them for a while, wrap them in bacon. They're delicious. I don't know why you'd be so anti-duck. They're not bad.
I do not like duck meat though. It's very dry. Very dry. Too dry for me. I don't even like
bullshit.
Chicken.
That's bullshit. Anytime somebody says that, it's because you haven't had somebody that made it for you that knows what the fuck they're doing around a grill.
I believe that. I'd agree with that. 100%.
Taste good. You can make anything taste good. Because I get that with venison all the time. Where like I don't like venison, and I'm just like that just means you haven't had venison made by somebody that actually knows how to cook venison.
Yeah,
that's all that. Because you can wild game especially. I mean, chicken's bad because chicken you can dry out like crazy. But wild game is like at a whole nother level of if you get that wrong, it's disgusting.
Yeah.
If you get it right, Yeah, you can screw up elk meat, and elk meat's pretty damn good.
Yeah,
but you can screw it up. You overcook it a little bit. Hamid says overcooked duck. I'm not sure. I was listening to a different podcast today, and they were talking about there's a word. Cole's going to know what I'm talking about because he listens to the same podcast I do. There's a word for when somebody shortens up a saying and they leave off the back half of it. Like when in Rome, right? What? Do what the Romans do is the saying, but nobody says the back half of it. They just say when in Rome. And so I feel like Hamid's basically saying like a saying like that, but he's not saying the back half of it. Like overcooked duck. You just don't even need to say anything else. Like there's another part to that saying. You just don't even know how to say it.
Speaking of the sayings, I heard something. I'm not sure how valid it is and how true it is, but the saying, the customer's always right, which we all know. We can write a big BS after that. Mm-hmm. All right. But I heard the original saying was the customer's always right when it comes to matters of taste. They are right about what they like.
Yeah.
They may not be right about the process. They may not be right about how you got there, but they are right about what they like.
That's another one. Yeah, they just cut the back half of it off, but the back half of that one's pretty damn meaningful.
Yeah.
Because there's no more frustrating thing than when the customer thinks they're right. I'll tell you that.
Yeah.
It's like, oh,
well,
God.
it's like the money's the root of all evil. That ain't the quote. The quote is the love of money is the root of all evil.
That is true.
And yeah, people can get way too much in just making the money. They stop having a life. They stop being good people. So
you and I had a conversation about that not too long ago with some people that I know well and some people that you had started to meet. And that was that saying describes what I think has happened, which is they really just started worrying about the wrong thing. And it's a love of money instead of just like
the money,
working hard for people and doing good stuff.
Yeah.
Which it's like, it's not my problem, but it's frustrating. It's frustrating to watch and be tied up in. I got some emoji stories here. There's so many
putting them together.
There's so many emojis. I'm gonna do let me see if I can make it. Does that make it bigger? Okay. I'm like looking over everybody's head now. I had to put this on my bigger monitor so that I can like see this better. We've got some stories here. Let's see here. I when it's just like a generic Facebook user, I can't always see who dropped it in here, so I'm like scrolling back at the feed. If it's a generic Facebook user one, we'll figure out who won this. We got Facebook user that says, "One day I was swimming laps, Frank, when a ninja came by and I had to turn into a mermaid. But me and that mermaid fell in love." You see the two people with the hearts there. Me and the mermaid fell in love. One day I was taking a bath. They came in. I see two sets of lips, so I'm just gonna like leave that to your imagination, Frank. We ended up on
that's bacon. That's bacon, man.
You think I was thinking that was? You're right. That is bacon. That is bacon. All right. So we fell in love. I took a bath. The ninja was cooking some bacon. We were living on this island, but we had to fly back, and Frank was our air traffic controller. And the plane crashed down, and we had to use the rescue buoys. That's the story they're telling.
All right.
I
think they did a movie with Tom Hanks on that.
You're right. There was a long pause in there where they were stuck on that island. The island should have been multiple islands in a row, maybe. They're cooking bacon 1 second, the next second they're stranded on an island. Scrolling down here, we got a couple more. Ryan had kind of a short and sweet one. That was an eyeball. He's just like he fell in love with eggplants and then just had to take a dip, started swimming. He fell in love with eggplants and he's like, "This is embarrassing. I'm out of here." And the fastest way out was he swam for it. He had to make a break for it. Amber Elise says, it's a shiny day, but then sometimes you get shit on. And so you throw back a couple chemicals and you just hope you don't overdo it and end up dead. That's what that one is. So that was a deep life lesson in 4 emojis. We got Ryan. He's got 3 hard hat workers. That's got to be just like extra emphasis. I assume that's like when somebody would include an exclamation point, but another person might do like 3 exclamation points to really drive it home. Ryan's dropping 3 hard hat dudes, what looks to be a soap scrubby. So I think he's like, I'm out working, I'm getting dirty, I'm gonna quick scrub off. He's got 2 dudes swimming, and that to me is lap swim. That can only be lap swim. That's like I'm going this way and then I'm going that way type of thing. Or you got 2 lanes going at the local gym. You got lap swim going on, and he's just loving it. He's loving it, and he's making money doing it. He's got $4 bill stacks. So he's working, he's cleaning, he's swimming laps, and he's loving making money doing it. He dropped a subsequent one with the eye emoji and then a heart. So he loves cleaning and scrubbing swimming pools and making money.
Oh,
I like that one. That one's like really nice to the point.
That's
really
very direct.
Like eye, heart, cleaning, scrubbing, swimming pools, making dough. I like that one.
Like it.
Here we got a Facebook user that just went hard. Like
the 2 chapters.
The others were some short stories. This person wrote a novel. And then Cole in a second. The next one is Cole, who was like, oh, I'm gonna see that, and then I'm gonna do more of that. So Facebook user says, I'm gonna throw back some tall boys and I'm gonna ride this wave and then be like, oh shit, I gotta get back to shore. But it's kind of tough because I'm drunk and it's COVID time, and now I'm not feeling good, so I get a ride in the ambulance, and they pronounce me dead. Right here, I have been pronounced dead, but there's a mad scientist that comes up with a way to save me, and they've got this
The fountain of youth.
They've got this solution in a beaker, and they're doing this chemistry stuff, and there's the fountain of youth, and I'm crossing my fingers, and all of a sudden I'm A-okay, and I'm back in the pool. And now I'm like a bionic swimming superhero, and I think they're holding up a gold medal here, or are they playing
No, it looks like it's playing volleyball.
Polo? I think they're playing water polo.
Oh, water polo.
And so somehow after this rebirth, after their death, they became the world's best water polo player, which I don't think is saying a lot. I really don't know anybody that plays water polo. But have you ever watched water polo? It's insane.
Dude, those dudes are incredible.
The whole time I watch it, I feel like I'm drowning, Frank. Like I am anxious and nervous because I just feel like somebody's about to drown all the time.
I mean, it's legal to dunk somebody.
Yeah. I mean,
this guy's wore out.
I can't.
I could never do it. I could never.
Watching The Office kind of makes me anxious because there's like those sitcoms where like even though it's funny and you know what's happening, you're like, this makes me really uncomfortable, the situation that they're in. And watching water polo is the reality TV version of something like The Office. It's not a sitcom, so it's different. But the whole time I'm watching it, I'm like, this is making me uncomfortable because of like there's somebody's about to die. But anyway, so this person goes through this medical rebirth, becomes great at water polo. They're swimming around. All of a sudden, they're surfing again, and then they're happy. They're loving life. That's a pretty good story. I like it's got a nice arc to it. It's like, life is good. I'm having so much fun. Oh my God, I'm going to the hospital. I'm dead. But now I'm coming back as a superhero, and I'm good at it. It's like, it's a cool story arc for that one. Cole Sycophus. I really don't know what the JP is. I don't know what that is. Starts with
What's a JP? What are you looking at?
I don't know. It's like what?
That's a Japanese flag, is it not?
I don't fucking know. No,
that's like the sun, whatever they call their flag.
Beats me.
Japanese beer, John Travolta, beer.
It's like, I'm drinking beer, I'm dancing, I'm having fun. Hey, Frank, don't try to read the story. You're just here to be entertained and decide. Yeah, like let me interpret the story. Your job is to decide which one's the best. My job is to read a stupid ass story and tell you what it says. So I'm gonna ignore the JP, unless Cole's talking about my mama, Jeannie Plata.
Where are you getting JP, man? That's a freaking flag.
Right at the beginning, it just says on the screen that I'm looking at. It shows the letters J and P. You know what?
I'm looking at a Japanese flag.
You know what? I bet. Let me scroll back. You're right. So I'm looking at it on my phone. It's a Japanese flag. I'm looking at it on the screen here on the bottom little ticker thing, and it just shows a JP. It doesn't show the flag. If you look at it on the bottom of our StreamYard little window, it just shows a JP.
I see Japanese flag.
Oh, on my end, I just see a JP. All right, but now I'm with
you.
Hey, I'm just reading a story here. I see a JP. That's my mom's initials. I thought Cole was talking shit about my mama. But Jeannie can throw down a bush lighter too. Sweeney Jeannie. So you got this Japanese person sucking back some cold ones, hitting the dance floor. I don't know. I've been to China quite a bit, and they love their karaoke over there. So maybe in Japan, it's kind of like karaoke and dancing. They drink, they sing, they dance, they drink some more, and then they somehow hop a flight to Canada, or maybe they're just tipping back some maple syrup. There's some water droplets there, so I'm assuming they ran into somebody with a jellyfish sting, and so they're pissing on him by the ocean. That's what that wave is for. And then you got kind of like the injured dude, looks like an injured dude, like covering his face, and then somebody like putting their hands up. So it's like, I don't know, I just heard I was supposed to pee on you, man. Somebody else is swimming in and gets out the bow and arrow and just shoots the dude to put him out of his misery. That ends in some fishing, which is great. Like, for sure, let's wind her down with some fishing, a little more water polo.
Boy, that's getting popular.
Which this makes more sense to me. So it goes from water polo to the rescue floaty thing. That totally makes sense to me. Like, hey, I had this great idea. We're having fun. We're playing water polo. Oh shit, we're all gonna drown. So they're drowning. They need the rescue. Somebody's mad. This probably looks like a lifeguard. Like the angry face dude is a lifeguard, and he's saying, "No, you can't do that." So they all swim away. Somebody gets clever and like grabs a boat, which is against the law. So the police show up and they take off back to the U.S. and leave Japan and go to bed. That's quite the story, man. That's the last story was a heroic arc type of story. This one's more like The Hangover. You know, where it's just like, hey, we're having a good time, and just crazy ass shit ensues, and then let's get out of here. That's this storyline.
Yep. According to your interpretation.
No, I'm pretty sure that's exactly what it was. Hamid chimed in with we're gonna start with a couple beers. Everybody knows I like that. And then we're going swimming, but you're not supposed to swim, you know, within 30 minutes of consumption or something. And so you're not feeling good. Isn't it bullshit?
Yeah.
Okay. But then you're not feeling good. You get a little seasick. Now you're like taking the ride in the ambulance. You're back to dead, being saved, petri dish, story arc. You come out, fountain of life, superhero, and now you're swimming massive waves in the ocean. I think these last three, it's like you're swimming a massive wave. You're swimming around the world. That's all. Like, swimming, massive wave, still swimming. You're making a trip around the world. That's what Hamid has to say about that.
Good job, Hamid.
That's a good one. Oh, I got one more for you, Frank, and then you got to decide who the winner of the ticket to sales booth is. Ryan Crowley says, we're getting on an airplane. We're starting with a trip. Cole did chime in. Hamid chimed in. He said, Japanese flag, bro. Cole says, Japanese flag. All I could see, seriously, like, now there's an MX. Ryan Crowley had an MX, which is a Mexican flag. So Ryan, like, on my screen, it just says MX. It's so stupid. Ryan says, we're taking a trip. We're flying to Mexico. We're going to swim in Mexico. We're going in the ocean. We're drinking 6 Coronas. I'm surprised they don't put a lime on these. And then, which Ryan, nobody here is that much of a lightweight. You'd have to do like 30 of those emojis before you'd have somebody throwing up. But he's got some lightweights thrown up. They're basically dead. They are dead. They're in a coffin. They fly him back to the U.S. Everybody's really sad. This is his family. They're feeling really sad. And then they're buried. That's a dark one.
I think that's a good interpretation, though.
I think I hit that one on the head.
I think you did.
I think that's the story Ryan was telling. That's the story I told you. There's no ifs, ands, or buts about it. The only thing that doesn't make sense in this story to me is 6 beers. Like, ain't nobody.
They're big beers.
Yeah, I guess they are as big as an ocean wave. It's like
a wave of beers.
Yeah, it's just a wave of beers. You're right. It was 3 waves of 2 beers each, and the beers are as tall as a wave. So you're right. If those were human-sized canisters, that'd be a lot of beer.
See, I think I've lived this one. It's like this guy's followed me for a while.
I feel like if this one rang with you, you'd have died this one, not lived this one, because it ends in a graveyard. You'd have died.
I was resurrected.
This is only the first half of the story. The rest of the arc hasn't come yet. Here's an interesting comment, Frank, before you decide who the winner is. Hold on. Hamid says, have another beer. And he says, fucking Ryan, I hope you get it. That's the winner. So Hamid liked Ryan's there. Ryan said, "That's 2 of mine. You hit the nail on the head." So we got like the death one. I think makes a lot of sense. I gotta scroll back up here. I'm thinking like I don't know if I hit this one on the head, but I think this one I hit on the head. Like I love cleaning, scrubbing pools and making money. I think that one I think was a nice concise. That one got right to the point.
That's deep.
Let me I'm gonna go back through these for you, Frank, before you have to choose which one the winner is. We've got generic Facebook user that we'd have to go back. This was, hey, I was out swimming one day. I met a ninja. I happen to be a mermaid. We fell in love. One day I was taking a bath while they were cooking bacon, but we ended up stranded on an island and had to get rescued. There was that one. So that's a fun story.
That's basically what was that? Castaway.
Yeah, it's Castaway. Which is fun. I'm glad.
By the way,
oh shit! Yeah, you got Wilson right there.
I got Wilson.
Yeah, it hits home. Ryan had a short version of falling in love with an eggplant. Amber had a version where it was sunny and then she was swimming in shitty water and she drank some toxins and got
that's her went to Florida and got hit it hard.
She died. Yeah. She died, but she lived to tell about it. We got Ryan. We had Ryan with the hard hat and scrubbing and swimming laps and he was happy and making money. And then we had Ryan that basically was, loving, cleaning, scrubbing pools, swimming laps and making money there. Here was the first long one about consuming a beer, getting sick, dying, being resurrected as a water polo god or goddess, and then swimming, riding waves, being happy. And then we had Cole going to Japan, drinking too much, dancing, drinking maple syrup. Somehow ended up getting peed on because he probably got stung by a jellyfish, got shot with a bow and arrow. Everybody was like, well, that sucks for that dude. Let's go fishing. Started playing some water polo, needed to get rescued by an angry lifeguard. One guy bailed out in a boat. He got arrested, ended up getting flying back to the U.S. Definitely a hangover theme plot. That was hangover, has hangover written all over it. So that's Cole's submission. We had Hamid drinking, swimming, getting sick, dying, resurrected, swimming around the world. We had lastly Ryan going to Mexico, riding some waves, drinking human-sized beers, puking, dying, flying back to the U.S. Family sad, and he gets buried. Teresa McConnell, what's up, Teresa? Thanks for checking. I hope you enjoyed the stories via emojis there. I just saw you checked in. Teresa said they swam too far out. Ryan said it was supposed to mean many, many beers. I think we got there. He said everybody dies from the beer in Mexico. Hamid says facts. Eggplant. Hamid questioned the eggplant. Ryan said, I love using the eggplant in a pool. Pool cleaner's best trick. Eggplant in the pool. That was a lot of stories. That was a lot of stories for you. Do you have a favorite? What story?
I got two. I love the Castaway.
The Castaway
was the Castaway story. That was really good. And I love cleaning pools, making money. Were those
money?
Who was Castaway? Which one was Castaway?
I don't know. Hold on one second. Let me see if I can find.
Ended up on a deserted island.
Yeah, it might have been. It had to have been in this.
Was that Amber?
No. Because I've got two different groups here.
There's one that has an island about third or fourth from the end.
Let's see here.
But
I can't see that one. It won't go back in the comments far enough. Let me see if I can. I think I will only be able to see it once we end the live. It won't let me scroll back that far on our live feed. Ryan dropped the other one, cleaning pool and making money. The other one,
Ryan's in the running.
The other one was generic.
Now, I do feel sorry for these people because some of them are subject to your interpretation, which think on a couple of those, Yeah. That's
I
Facebook user. And you can find out who that is?
I can go back and figure out which feed it came through and find out who it is.
Right.
It was on one of the feeds.
All right. Bacon that draws me in. Big bacon fan. I know it's hard looking at me, but I love my bacon. So this one, the mermaid, mermaids kind of creep me out though, because I'm not sure, like, how do you get with the mermaid?
Yeah, I'm not sure how that works, but that's where you can use your imagination. You get to tell the story, Frank. You get to decide how you get with a mermaid. Hey, nobody said they had sex, Frank. They just loved each other. The ninja and the mermaid loved each other. Didn't mean they were going around sleeping a whole bunch together, Or maybe that's the story you're telling yourself.
You know what? I like simple. I like to keep it simple. The cleaning pools making money. Ryan.
There it is. Ryan. Right. You got yourself a ticket, Ryan.
But great effort, guys. I mean, I enjoyed it.
That's a lot of fun.
I think some of your interpretations were horrible, but
get out of here.
One guy went to Japan, he got wasted. He ended up going to Canada, got kicked out of Canada, and had to escape to the U.S.
I don't know if he went to Canada or if he was just drinking maple syrup still in Japan.
Oh, he could have.
It's unclear. But
he's in Canada drinking Molson Golden or something.
Yeah, I didn't write the story. I just told the story, Like somebody else wrote the story. It was just for me to tell it, and it's totally a hangover. Cole did say he disqualifies himself because he already has a ticket.
And I remembered that. I did like his was interesting, but he was out because I am aware that what a name. Sycophus.
Dude, the first, Cole is a hunting buddy of mine, and I freaking love every time I get to hang out with him. When I first met him, I knew who he was only from Facebook because I friended him on Facebook because he had a picture like him holding a big largemouth bass, and he has a cool ass name. And I was like, "What's up, man? Nice catch." And like a year or two later, I was at a pressure washing convention, sat down next to a dude at the bar, and I was like, "Well, man, what's up?" And he's like, "Hey, man, I'm Cole." I was like, "Hey, whatever." And somehow we started talking hunting and fishing because I'm a total outdoorsy redneck. And later on, he starts showing me pictures of like hunting shit. And I'm just like, "Oh, you're Cole Sycophus? Like, why didn't you say so? Like, now I know who you are." Like, and he knew who I was from me being a total loudmouth jackass. But it was funny. Like, I bet he and I had 5-6 beers together before I realized that I was like friends with him on Facebook and that his last name was Sycophus. And since then we've done a handful of hunting and fishing trips together, and hopefully many more to come.
Did he ever tell you the interpretation of Sycophus?
No.
What that means?
Cole, do you got an interpretation of that? Give it. Is that an Indian
or an origin?
Yeah. What's the origin of Sycophus?
Sycophus. I've never heard that name before in my life.
It sounds like some shit somebody made up, I think somebody just made some shit up.
It sounds like the noise something makes. You remember they had the blah or what was that green crap that you would stick your hand in and it'd wrap around your hand?
I don't know what the hell you're talking
about. It's what do they call it? Dadgummit. All the kids had it. It just gooey crap, and they'd keep it in a little jar.
My kids have shit like that all the time. I don't know that there's a word for it. It's just like the shit that I always have to clean up after my kids.
What Sycophus is like the sound it would make when you pulled your hand out of it.
Yeah, it is. That nails it. Teresa says slime.
Slime. Thank you, Teresa.
Is it just called?
Why didn't she put something in? Why didn't she enter? German, I think. Dad says I'm a mutt.
Yeah,
of course.
Cole's a mutt, but he says he's a fucking badass mutt. So don't take that away from him. Ryan said, "Wait, I won." Yeah, Ryan, use the winner. I gotta probably send you the link to the thing. That's on me. I gotta send you a thing. Remind me to send you a thing. Cole sent me another maple leaf. It is maple sapping time. Maybe Cole's just feeling the maple syrup type of season. So maybe that's why the Canada leaves out there. Maybe he's just really feeling like the NHL playoffs coming up. He's just getting a Canadian vibe. Did you know this is not a commonly known thing? But did you know why they sell night crawlers in packs of 12? Are you aware of this? Like if you ever buy night crawlers, they always come in a dozen. Do you know why that is?
Why?
I happen to know. Because they're always Canadian crawlers. They always get ambushed playing a hockey game. There's 12 people on the ice. There's the 5 on each side plus the goalies. Canadian crawlers, always playing hockey.
I'm willing to bet the night crawlers we get in Texas
They're always from Canada.
They're always from Canada.
If there's a dozen of them, if there's 10 of them, sure, they maybe came from somewhere else. Maybe it was a basketball game. But if there's a dozen of them, they are Canadian crawlers, and it'll say Canadian crawlers. They didn't come from Texas. If they're Canadian crawlers, it'd say Texas crawlers on it.
Well, I don't think we grow worms here.
Probably not. They probably say Canada. Everybody knows. Cole was going for the Leaf equals fall felon pool. That's what he was going for. That's quite the stretch.
Fall. Got it.
That was quite the stretch. It's a maple leaf.
Got it. I was trying to think of what beer they make out of maple or alcohol. Is there a maple rum?
I was going to say a bourbon. I bet they throw that in some
maybe
whiskey.
A maple bourbon.
They throw that in some whiskey. Frank, we're hitting the 2-hour mark, and you looked at me like I was being funny when I said we'd go 2 hours, and now here we are. Here's a closing question for you, and we'll wrap this baby up now that we got a ticket given away and had a hell of a lot of fun doing it. If you couldn't, money's not an object, and has nothing to do with swimming pools. You can't clean them. That you can't sell chemicals for them. You can't even talk about them. If that was the case, what would you go out and do tomorrow? Assuming it's like work related. You can't be like, I'm going to sit on the beach.
I go out. I got to work for a living.
You got to, like, money's not an object. You can do any job you want. You can have any business that you want. But it can't be pool related. It's got to be like a real thing.
I'd probably go back to electrical. I enjoyed electrical. It's problem solving, which I love. Figuring out, being, that's what I love about the pool industry. I go in, sometimes I'm the 4th, 5th guy on the job, and I'm the first guy to figure it out. I love electrical because it's, finding the way around to make it work and make it work safely. So yeah, I would probably get back into electrical work because I enjoy it.
Electricity is one of those things where I'm like, every time I feel like I kind of get it, I'm like, no, I have no idea what the fuck's going on here. Like,
and then sparks fly, and you're like, okay, I'm out.
Yeah, I mean, like, I'll throw some new outlets in, right? I'll change some light fixtures. I get a red wire and a black wire and a white wire, and I can figure that stuff out. But how the currents work and the AC versus DC and all of these things, like, I'm just I get maxed out pretty quick. And it's like, how the hell does all this stuff do its thing?
I love doing air traffic control. That was awesome. And I'm glad I got to do it. A lot of the experiences I had, like I get the people who got me associated with, like I got to do 40 parabolas on the Vomit Comet that goes out and you get to experience weightlessness. I did a T-38 climb to 43,000 feet out of Laughlin Air Force Base. I've flown a blimp. There's so much crap that I got to do that I can walk into any crowd and nobody's been on the Vomit Comet. Nobody's flown a blimp. I've skydived. You'll run into skydivers occasionally, but all these unique experiences. And so I loved air traffic, but I'm too old. I cannot do it anymore. And I walked into work one day. I'm like, okay, I'm working 80 hours a week. I'm really tired. I'm sucking at air traffic control and I'm sucking at the pool business. I need to make a decision.
Yeah, it's got to be one or the other.
Yeah, and air traffic was coming to an end anyway, so there I went. But
hey, now you ended up in the sweet spot. But if
here
not,
I
it's
am.
the electrical. Frank, do this. Tell all the folks where the hell they can find you.
Well, we got I got a homepage. It's the deependpoolpodcast.com. Our show is the Deep End Pool Podcast. You can search it on any of the platforms. We're on every platform, just like you from Turfs Up Radio. We got on any social media, you can find us. You can search at Deep End Frank, and we'll come up. That's YouTube, that's TikTok, that's, I believe it's the same for Twitter, or not Twitter, whatever the crap, Facebook, their Reels thing, whatever that is, Instagram, and on Facebook. But yeah, it's we're starting to get going on all the other social media stuff. It used to just be a podcast, but we're rolling with it. Got sponsors now, enjoying that, and just having a ball. And we love doing the podcast. We really do. Me and the wife both. I wish she would come on this, but ladies, they got to do their hair and all that crap. And,
Yeah, we just jump on sweaty and smelly and looking like whatever we look like.
I don't care what I look like. But
no, I do every once in a while. I like shower or jump in the pool after I work out. But there's definitely an efficiency thing to it. It's got to be efficient. I gotta make it work for what I got going on. I dropped the Deep End Pool Podcast.com on the YouTubes. I dropped it out in the Home Service Happy Hour group. So if you guys want to check out Frank's podcast, I saw you're like you eclipsed the triple digits. You're up in like the 100 teen range now for episodes. I think one of them
yeah.
back in the day.
Yeah.
I think I made appearance back in the day.
Yeah, you did, and I definitely want to get you back on. That was
whenever
one.
Whenever you want to bore your audience to death with well, I mean, maybe we can come up with some emoji stories to keep them entertained, but in the meantime, we can just talk accounting stuff and just nerd out and bore them to death. It'd be great.
No, I definitely want. What's your your program? It's the name of it's eluding me right now.
The Home Service Happy Hour.
No. Your process. Do what?
Oh, best damn bookkeeping. Is that what you're talking about?
No, not your show.
Hold on. Third time's a charm.
It's you have a program that you teach to people.
I have a lot of things I teach to people, Frank.
Well, it's you talked about it on my show. You touched on it on my show.
I'd have to go back and listen to what the hell I said on your show, Frank. I don't even know what I said.
Dadgummit.
I do.
This
have,
was, by the way, I had a stroke about a year and a half ago. That's how freaking old I am. And all it did was screw up my vision a little bit, and which is kind of cool, because I can look people square in the face and not see them, because it just left a little dead spot, right there in the middle.
That's perfect. Then you get to choose what you want to see.
But since then, I don't remember the best, but I still have a good time.
So I do have, and I'm sure I talked about this because it's always a timing thing. I have, since we talked about sales boost earlier, I'll quick make this plug. I have a handful of things that I like to talk about, present on, and teach over and over and over again. Because I find that even if somebody has heard me talk about it, I can, every time I think it's boring, I'm like, oh yeah, I've given this talk 1,000 times. Everybody's like, oh my God, that was the third time I've heard you talk about that. And I never noticed, that never hit home, or I knew I did these couple things, but I never did that thing. And so I've been encouraged. And I think podcasting is like this a lot too, where it's like you and I feel like we say the same shit over and over and over again. And yeah, to us, it feels like that because we hear every episode because we're sitting here the whole time, but not everybody catches every episode. And it's good to have some continuity of yep, I'm here. I know this is a thing that we talk about a lot, and I feel like I'm at home because this is the thing we talk about a lot. So I try to
do the circle,
have a balance of that. Yeah, I try to have a balance of I want to hit some of the same stuff over and over and over again because it is important to have that continuity. And I find especially in our home service businesses, the lessons that we're teaching and learning don't need to change all that much from now to 5 years from now to 5 years from now. There's things that change in how we approach it, but there's some things that just persist over time. The one that I'm talking about at Sales Boost, I call the purgatories of scaling.
There you go.
And I've been encouraged. That's probably the words I used. Like, I've been refining that talk for a couple years now. And I say it's my number one head nodding presentation. Because every time I talk about it, people are like, oh shit. Like,
Yeah.
well, I was there, but now I'm at this one, but I didn't realize I was still like in a dead spot here. Like, oh man, you just get a lot of head nods in the audience, and people like, it's the classic, like, tons of pictures of your screen. Like, hey, here's what to do to fix this one. And everybody's like, shit, he's about to flip slides. And everybody like stops listening and gets their phone out. I love giving that presentation. It's just hilarious watching the audience interact. And I'm just sitting up there drinking a beer, doing my thing. But that's coming at sales.
So you take a beer on stage.
My favorite is when I'm the first speaker and it's like 8 a.m. and everybody's in there and they're like, ugh. And I'm just like, all right, everybody ready to talk bookkeeping? Let's do it. And it's just a little shtick that I like to do. So yeah, that's my gimmick. I always take a beer on stage.
That's cool. That's funny. I need to.
Go ahead.
Oh, I was just gonna say I need to get to one of your, where you're. Make sure I'm aware where you're going. I fly all the freaking time. I'm like 770 something thousand loyalty points with American Airlines now. I fly a lot. And I don't mind getting on a plane, going and see where you're at.
Hey, I'm around. I'm being around. I'll be at Sales Boost in 2 weeks in Wilmington. Wilmington's a tough place to fly into, though. It's like I'm in Minneapolis and we got Delta out the wazoo up here. I can usually get anywhere on a nonstop. Wilmington, I got to stop. I think I go to New York first, which is, I'm not looking forward to running through LaGuardia. But I'll get my exercise. I'll get my steps in.
Can you go through Newark? I like Newark. The ARK. I need to borrow some of those points to get to Sales Boost.
Ryan, you can probably just drive. You just drive it. Just drive over to Wilmington. Well, Frank, I appreciate you jumping on and hanging out. Oh, I got all glitchy and slow. Ooh.
I know you're kind of bouncy.
Yeah, but I look cool when I feel like I'm in a disco when I'm doing that. That was nice. Frank, thanks for hanging out, man. It's always a marathon. I don't know. I have no explanation for why my episodes go for 2 hours. I don't intend for them to. Just here we are. I don't know why. I don't know how. I don't know what the hell we just talked about for the last 2 hours. But I do know that I had a hell of a lot of fun. I hope you did too. I hope
I did. I had a good time, and I appreciate you bringing me on. It was worth the time. Thank you very much.
I'm sure. It's a blast. Business entertainment.
It's Japanese flag, you freaking idiot.
Yeah. Jeannie Marie Plata. It was my mom's initials is what it was. Hey, again, we're all just telling our own story, right? We're just telling the story. And that's like, I think there's an underlying lesson there, which is like, when you're not seeing eye to eye with somebody, just remember, you don't know what it is that they're seeing. They're just telling themselves their own story. And you just got to help them understand what your story says too. Ryan says from Arkansas, hell nah. That's a very Arkansas thing to say. Hell nah.
Hell nah.
Yeah.
That sounds kind of Cajun.
Yeah, he's down there. He says 2 hours is good. My cutoff is 8 hours. If the drive is longer than 8 hours, I'll fly. But if it's like 6 hours, I'm kind of like, it's just easier to drive, and then I don't need to rent a car or dick around with Ubers. And like, by the time you take a 2 hour flight that would cover a 6 hour drive, you get there at the exact same time.
But here's the thing.
And you're not on anybody else's schedule.
If you're a member of the Admirals Club, you show up 2 hours early. You get drinks, you get food, you sit on the plane, you get upgraded, you get drinks, you get food. It just, they're feeding the sweet spots, man. And if I got a 2 hour flight, that's 6-7 hour day.
It's not bad. Yeah.
But it's a good 6-7 hours.
Hey, now you're starting to sell me. I'm feeling it. I'm feeling it. I like that. I like that.
But
Ryan said 2 hours is good. And then he's like, no, not a flight. 2 hours show. Dumbass. He didn't say dumbass, but he put the laugh emoji, which since I'm all about interpreting emojis today, he meant dumbass. But hey, 2 hours in and a beer and a cocktail in, it is what I said it was. I don't know. Well, I'm all glitchy. I don't know why I'm all glitchy all of a sudden, but thanks for putting up with me. Thanks for putting up with Frank. Thanks for hanging out. I appreciate the hell out of you guys. Let's do this thing. Give it a like, give it a subscribe, give it a share. Do all the cool stuff you can do on the social media. Go check out Frank's podcast, The Deep End, and go check out the website, thedeependpoolpodcast.com. It's in the notes. Jai will put it in the show notes for you. Check it out. It's a ton of fun, just like we had tonight. And we'll see you on the next one. Frank, thanks so much. Business nerds, you know what to do. Work harder and smarter. Go earn some pride. Good night.
Take care, bud.